This is a Poet Punch podcast.
Alright, we're back.
Hello. It's been a while. It hasn't been a while.
Really?
Actually, yeah. Well, it technically has been a while because it will be on the Tuesday.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to roll the magic dice.
Okay. Oh wait, I could have done that with the... That's fine.
One.
So we are on the same table as... Hold on. This is actually huge.
Okay.
Right, so we've got the Maker, the Revenant, the Thing, the Thousand, which is mildly interesting, the Wasp, and the Wink. Now, the Wink is a bit of a rough one on there, because it doesn't even have an image. So it's probably going to be another classic metal candidate, where you were just staring at it, being like, what is that?
I'm scared. I'm scared to roll, you know?
Yeah, well, we got to... Hold on. I'll do it physical for luck.
Do it physical, yeah.
ASMR.
Please be 1 or 3.
Please. Two.
The Revenant.
Wait. Okay, could be worse.
Right.
Ezekiel Wright.
Right.
Is his real name. The mystical showman vigilante known as the Revenant is the master of illusions able to distract and halt villains from continuing their criminal exploits.
So he's like a good Mysterio.
This is actually quite fun.
Okay. Cool.
So he's a magic boy.
He's from the 1930s now. African American. Interesting. We can play around with that.
Early 1930s, African-American Ezekiel Wright becomes the magician's apprentice and works alongside Alice Starr, an actress who... What a great name for an actress.
Yeah.
Alice
I'm a
Starr.
star!
I'm a star! No, I am a star!
Alice Starr!
Who assists in performances. Ezekiel becomes quite good at theatrical magic. I hope so, because he's training. And endeavouring to make it as a magician, he asks his teacher, Mr. Porter, to do a few tricks before his scheduled performance. The racist Porter. Now, okay, audience listeners, I'm not stuttering. This is just how it's spelled, like how it's put down on paper. The racist Porter shut him down, claiming that Broadway wouldn't want a black magician and reminded him that he'd be a violation of his contract if he performed for others like him in Harlem. So he's not even allowed to present, like, to do magic shows to black folks.
No.
Wild.
I think there's a lot.
This is a lot, yeah.
This is sick.
It's no The Maker or The Thing.
No.
But it's still
But
pretty
we've kind of used them. We've pumped The Maker like.
Have we done The Maker before?
He was our villain of
the
Avengers
Avengers
Season 2.
with Metal.
With Metal.
I forgot about Metal.
Fan favorite.
Well, I didn't forget about Metal. I just forgot about the contents of Metal.
Yeah, we had. Season 1's villain
Not the content of what metal he is made of, though, because that's iridium.
Yeah.
That's locked in.
Yeah.
That's never going to leave.
All of the iridium in the world.
Yeah. You know, iridium from...
Avengers 1.
Avengers 1. Anyway.
It generates antiprotons.
It generates antiprotons.
That's the Skarsgård.
Thank you. What's his name? It's not Dr. Zola.
Stellan. Dr. Selvig.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So when does he become actually magic, though?
No, I don't know if he's actually magic.
Is he just
or
a guy?
He's just an illusionist. He's like literally.
Oh, that's sick.
So he's using. So I think there's a lot of fun to be had here with like the fight style. Of, like using misdirection.
This is kind of just the now you see me.
And misdirection.
This is kind of just the now you see me of the MCU.
But it's one guy.
Do you know what's unfortunate about this?
What?
Is that we might have to use a couple of heist tropes.
No,
I think we might have to.
No, because I think he's more of a...
he's more of an on-the-fly guy.
He's not a planning heist man.
He's more like,
I'm
sleeve?
stopping crime.
Yeah.
Like, the diamond's behind your ear.
So this is Goofy Daredevil. in my eyes.
Yeah.
So far.
So the question is, do we have
This
this
is a
set
Marvel
in the
special.
30s? Do we have this set in the 30s?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. I think we need more historical weird things in the MCU timeline.
Yes.
Or at least when they try and do it, half the time they don't do it well. And then I feel like they just have to put more effort in it. Like Loki Season 2. Very good use of historical times.
Can we have him bump into...
A TVA guy.
I was going to say, can we have him bump into young Steve Rogers? Like,
I would be down for that. That was partly what I was about to say, was who is technically around in the 1930s in the MCU.
Yeah.
So Steve and Bucky.
Yeah. They're like...
How old would they be? They'd be like teenagers. Or like tweens.
Yeah.
So they'd probably be like some 12-year-olds trying to see the show.
1930.
What is that? What?
This is
about
about.
age
This
at
is about 10. It's about 10 years before.
What age is he in, like 1944 or whatever?
Hold on. Steve Rogers.
Jamie, look that up.
Of course, he's fucking 4th of July.
Oh my god.
1918.
So if it's the 1930s,
he's between 12 and 22 in 30. So if we go 30,
so what would be his teenage years?
Yeah,
that's quite good.
We could even do it.
So we got Steve and Bucky. Who else? I feel like Steve and Bucky are the easy ones to put.
There's probably a Black Panther around.
Yeah. That could be interesting. Hold on, because you could have a very similar narrative to the 90s, like Sterling K. Brown flashback in Black Panther 1.
Yeah.
Where it's the same narrative of you have this entire fantastical, magical kingdom of black people, and yet they let they let racism exist in the Western world.
That's a tough one. Maybe
you see
maybe,
obviously I'm being a bit vague right now because we're not starting anything, but it could be an interesting thing to maybe hint at best, and be like, oh, technically.
I think we could definitely also have like hints at TVA stuff happening.
We could, or I would maybe say, because like TVA could be interesting, or I would maybe say steer away from TVA. Because TVA's already kind of done it with the Kang stuff.
Yeah.
At a very similar time.
Yeah, you're right.
So...
With Victor Timely, that's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, it could be at literally the same carnival, like World's Fair.
That was the 20s.
But we could shift it around.
Wait. Chicago World Fair.
Marvel.
Well, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's just a real thing, isn't it? But
no. I just want to know when the Chicago World Fair.
Is it 1893? Is it the New York's Fair 1939 right there? Is it 1893?
It's 93 is the first one, but then they go back. Do they not go? Is there not a later one they go to as well?
I think we're just used to turn of the century film and TV. So when we see things from the 1890s, we go, "Oh, it's maybe the 1930s."
Yeah. Well, whereas 1930s is more like crime stuff. It's like
1930s is less like, "Oh, we have great hope for the future," because you've now just been through.
It's just the Great Depression's happened.
Yeah. You have, we maybe have some optimism that we're not in wartime anymore.
There's probably some Howard Stark in the 30s.
Is there an implication of Stark stuff? Is Howard Stark the first, like, actual...
He comes across as like, born rich kid.
Does he, though?
Yeah. Considering how young he is in...
I think the implication is partly that he's benefiting from a very convenient time to be a genius. Where it's like, technically he's in the perfect, like, apex time to be, like, someone that picks themselves up by their bootstraps, because the economy is just about doing well enough, and you're getting government funding. If you're someone like Howard Stark.
So we could show him kind of on the up.
we could, or we could maybe interestingly show Howard Stark as broke as fuck in the 20s. And then go, look how his favour has turned now that World War II is a thing, and that he is hired by the government. And he is later going to be the guy that makes S.H.I.E.L.D. somewhat.
So, to bear in mind,
so we have
1930s is like when like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is set.
Yes.
That's that kind of...
Yeah, I know history.
No, but like you're thinking in that kind of like there are gangs in New York. There's like organized crime.
Yeah.
There's also like the Americans are very unaware of what's happening in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, because it's not relevant to them. Because this is like perfect isolationist time. Yeah.
Or if they are aware,
they don't care.
They're like, yo, those Nazis, man, they're gonna bring in a lot of money for us.
Yeah. They either don't care or they care a little bit too passionately.
This is the perfect time for a Spider-Man noir.
Ooh.
But like, we then have to do a different universe stuff for that, and I don't want to do that.
We don't want to go back.
I don't want to go back.
Don't make me go back. Right. So,
I wonder if this just stays as a little standalone.
I feel like most of the story is going to be around Ezekiel anyway.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to go, okay, what is the fleshed out world of the 1930s at this time? Because 1940s, more than covered in the MCU.
Yeah.
1950s onwards, pretty covered.
What if...
1930s, not so much. Because 1940s is kind of like the apex time point in the MCU canon from Phase 1 onwards.
We could do something about the build-up towards World War II.
Yeah. Could do. I don't know, because I feel like Americans are being a bit stupid at this time.
Well,
they probably don't really give that much of a shit about, especially if it's like on the ground. Like, where is he from? Is he Chicago or is he somewhere else? Or am I just thinking Chicago because we mentioned Daily Bugle? I saw Daily Bugle up there.
It's probably New York, given that it's Marvel.
I saw Daily Bugle, so that's highly likely. Wait, scroll up to the Daily Bugle bit.
Daily Bugle considers the cost of originating the Revenant a monster, but when it comes to monsters, the Revenant in the 1930s is all too familiar with them. That line
Daily Bugle being a thing is interesting.
I think we do a detective noir thing.
Oh, 100%.
With the death of this Alice Starr,
being the reason why he cares.
Yeah.
I actually really like that.
Actually,
so it's kind of like everything's. So he is the private investigator character, and he's now down on his luck because he's just been removed from the circus. He's not allowed to perform in front of people, and now on top of that, the one like co-worker that he had that he actually liked has just been murdered. And then that's his kind of call to action.
How the hell do you spell Isaiah?
It's Ezekiel.
No, how do you spell Isaiah Bradley? Like
Isaiah Bradley. ISIAH.
IAH.
Then Bradley.
I think it's AIA.
Right. So that's my phone. This is my Bible.
Birth year. When was he born? Okay, but I reckon then what you do is that like this like young starlet is murdered.
Yeah.
And like the like police immediately are like, she's killed by a random black dude.
Oh, assuming it's him.
And no, not assuming that it's him.
Yeah.
But like.
Oh, then as soon as the Revenant becomes this character, like this vigilante character, they then connect the dots and go, it's probably that black man.
What?
Because is he a masked vigilante?
No,
right?
I think you play around with the fact that they probably don't know that the Revenant is a black man yet.
Right.
Because it's like the sightings of him and stuff. But like you have it that like someone else connected to him, or just someone in his community has been like arrested for this. And there was no real like investigation. It was just like, he was in the area. And then and then you do like. I reckon this could either be a TV show or it could be again like another like special feature.
I think it's a special look for sure.
Yeah.
I think this is a 1 hour noir themed thriller with the Revenant.
Yeah.
is what, yeah. Especially because it's all set in New York. It's all in the 1930s. You've got a cop buddy. You've got someone who's fighting crime. You've got a murdered girl. Perfect. Noir thriller.
Yeah.
Maybe not black and white again, but probably quite a
Close to it.
dark colour palette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've already got, what is it, Werewolf at Night?
Werewolf by Night. Yeah. And, I mean, that was pretty good.
Still haven't seen it, but yeah.
It's a pretty good... it's another standalone.
There's like a reveal at the end or something, right?
Not really. It's just that there's like man things in it.
That was it.
But like it's a pretty good just standalone like fun little thing.
Right. I might just watch it then.
But yeah, then I think that there should be some conspiracy to do with the woman that's murdered. You know, does she know? What does she know?
Oh, what do we do here? I feel like the reason why she's murdered has to link up some way into a wider MCU thing, even if it's very technically and doesn't really matter to the wider context. Where it's like, oh, this is an extra little nugget of
Oh,
right. That'll be our friend.
Hold on. Good.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we're back. What was I saying? Something about. It connecting to the MCU timeline in a very vague way, where it's kind of like a little chunk of fun, right? Where it's like, okay, you really don't need to know that the Revenant plotline is happening in the 1930s, and that it very technically connects to the wider MCU. But if you do,
it helps.
It's a fun little bit of knowledge, kind of like how if you watch Captain Marvel now at the beginning of the timeline,
it works better that way.
I
wonder then, do we have it that the actress who's been killed is dating Howard Stark? Because then we can do the whole...
That could be interesting, because it could then be that the Revenant, who has no money and no real power, assumes that Howard Stark is part of the conspiracy, when he is technically a good guy that happens to just be...
But he doesn't know it, and he just sees him as the rich guy.
A rich man, yeah. That could work. Wider bits. Okay.
I think I would maybe
start putting things on the maps.
Not even think about going too wide with it. Anyway, this seems like a very...
Everything has to be New York focused at best. So that still means that we can have Steve Rogers and Bucky be little guests. Nuggets.
In 1 hour thing, I think it's harder to do.
I would just say that they're in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then maybe your perspective when he's about to go on stage and then gets stopped. And that's it. So you get maybe 5 minutes max.
Yeah.
And so you go, oh, that's interesting. That's Bucky and Steve when they were kids.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Moving on to the actual plot with the guy now. And then you get into the nitty gritty of his his plot line, his co-star dying, him being involved in the mystery of it all.
We can always link it to Eternals because they're always around.
Right. So I don't remember much about Eternals at all.
You can ask me who's alive.
I was on Iridium that night when I watched Eternals. And I was not paying attention. Partly because that movie does not really have a plot.
Oh, it does. It's just not very good.
Sure. So, which one of the Eternals would be interested in magic shows in New York in the 1930s? Go on. Sprite?
I mean, no, but Sprite would be unimpressed because that's literally Sprite's powers, right?
Right.
It's just fireworks everywhere.
Right. So who else is there though? Because Brian Tyree.
He might be like.
Who is he? He's the engineer one.
Yeah, he might be in the Prestige, being like, "I've made a new magic."
Oh my god! It's
machine.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is the Prestige of Marvel. Every Marvel special that's a noir thriller has 3 acts.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I actually kind of like that idea. He's like the Michael Caine character, who's inventing all of the machines.
Who's observing it?
No, but he's inventing the machines.
Oh, so he's kind of backstage.
Tricks.
Oh, and that's really interesting, especially because he's also
almost
black.
like his Alfred.
Kind of, yeah. But he's also
because
what? I don't get what you're getting at here.
Like in Atlanta.
Oh, like Atlanta, right? audience listeners, I like Atlanta, the show.
Yeah.
So does Tom now.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, where were we? Right. But yeah, it would be interesting because he's also black.
Yes.
And so that would add a little...
And he's not quite had his, oh my god, I invented the nuclear bomb moment yet.
True. That happens later because this is the 30s and not the 50s.
I reckon it's one of his many side hustles is just like making like magic
doodads.
Yeah.
So that could be...
Yeah.
But I don't know where that would go because I think part of the issue here is that a lot of the... what's his name again? The Revenant, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the Revenant's character seems to be that he is kind of just born in the wrong time and doesn't really have any material power. So if he knows this character who is essentially a god to him, that also happens to look like an African American.
Yeah, but I think he's more like... The way I see it...
It could be really good, or it could be absolutely crap.
I see it as more... He's there to, like... He, like, makes little nudges of technology, right? Which is why, like, the magic industry is not something that is going to advance humanity forward. So he
Big magic is not making steps.
Yeah, so he feels he has the... He can, like, you know... make weird shit, but it's not going to be like, oh my god,
he can fuck around and find out in this environment in the 1930s backstage in New York. Yeah.
But like he doesn't need to be a big part of it. He's literally just there to be like, and here's your little smoke pellets.
My only worry about that is that would probably be in Act 1 as well. So you would essentially go Bucky, Steve, Hephaestus.
I think you get rid of the Bucky.
I like Bucky and Steve a lot though. I really do, especially because it's like a 5-minute bit. It's almost like a fake-out intro. I like that a lot.
But bear in mind the okay, so I think the
especially because
stuff
you
with
can
the Howard
almost
Stark
pair it with the way they do the first Avenger, and that linking up to Iron Man 2.
Like,
So it's almost like look, different stages of their life or different stages of that being at.
But then that can be the opening still.
Yeah.
And then it's them, and it cuts to this guy going on stage, doing his magic show, and then coming off stage.
Is that going to be Mr. Porter or is that going to be the Revenant?
I don't know. It's very tricky. It's tricky. I think...
How do we end this? I think a good way to do this is maybe backwards.
Okay, so figure out what the end.
So if we're doing generic Act 5,
the woman is dead. So
resolution.
We need to figure out. So
find out
who it is. Give him a good old punch.
I would say it being a noir thriller and him being someone that hasn't really got much material power. He maybe quote unquote wins at a cost.
Right. What do you mean?
Where it's kind of like maybe he dies in the process of discovering the truth. He maybe disgraces someone's public name, but still has the misfortune. Right? Something goes wrong for him at the end. So it's kind of a bittersweet ending, I feel. That would be how I would do it. I feel like this is not a story where it's just he wins the end.
Yeah.
It's maybe he wins at a cost. Tragic. Moving on. Oh, that's upsetting that the Revenant is kind of one of this founding building blocks of this wider timeline. Feeling. Right?
Yes.
You see the logic.
So who would kill a Hollywood star, and why would they do it? See, I think you've got to have political motivations if we're not, because like the red herring is that you think like, oh, it's Howard Stark. She was dating him, and some from his perspective is that like
Howard Stark is almost his red herring, but we as an audience know that it's probably not him. Yeah. And then you go, oh no, mate, what are you doing?
He's a good guy or something.
You idiot. Imagine you're watching a noir thriller and you're screaming at the TV, being like, "You're getting it wrong." What? Right.
This is tough.
Okay.
This is tough.
Who? Right. 1930s.
Yes.
Someone seeing a woman on stage could just be mad for seeing a woman on stage. especially if she's like an actress, she's maybe seen as promiscuous, because this is the 1930s,
Yeah.
this is like Hays Code time. This is like, the Bible Belt is going to get pissed at you if you act a little bit fruity or you act a little bit teasy. So I could see it being like a Christian nationalist.
But the 1920s, 1930s is a lot of that as well, though.
But that's kind of the point, is that there is like
it?
lots of metropolitan areas that are kind of antagonizing Bible Belt areas by just, being vaguely progressive, and then the Bible Belt getting pissed off. So I could see it being a Christian nationalist. But that we also do that quite a lot at this point. I've realised is that we do that whenever there's something in the past. We go.
What if it's like it's the mayor of New York or something, who's also
Can we
been
link
seen,
it to Fisk at all?
He's not alive yet.
And also, his whole story is that his dad is a fuck up.
Yeah.
So
I think that it's more likely that it's just some nobody mayor who is like who's killed this woman because she started seeing Howard Stark when she was seeing him. And so like the realization is that like, oh, the mayor is involved, and like he's pointed the police towards like the black community to be like, just
to try and get a villain really quickly.
Just arrest one of them, mate.
Yeah,
it's easy.
This is slowly becoming the show Eric, but at a different time.
I've never seen it, so
it's quite good.
All right,
but it's more like 1970s, like AIDS plus black community.
Write it down, mayor.
Mayor bad.
Yeah.
This is a 1930s production with a black man.
Yeah.
Where there's going to be a bittersweet ending. There are many shows, like films and bits of TV from this time, where they try and do a civil rights progressive storyline.
And then they do a happy ending at the end.
They do not do a happy ending at the end. So commonly from this time, it's usually that you have to point out that they have unnecessarily killed him. So like Night of the Living Dead is the one that comes to my mind immediately, where it's that he is the last surviving person of the Night of the Living Dead situation, and then the cops just kill him at the end. So when Jordan Peele was going to do that original ending for Get Out, that was what he was trying to do a homage to, was...
Oh, right. That's probably why he changed it as well, because it was too depressing.
It was kind of like this time when we had to do this to kind of convey the point that the cops do unnecessarily do harm to the black community.
I think...
It's kind of like, it still sometimes serves its purpose, but now kind of does just feel miserable.
Well, then
versus being a...
Well, then what if it's he exposes that the mayor has done it.
Yeah. No one believes him.
Well, no, the mayor goes to prison, but then, like, it's just somebody else takes the credit for having, like, Stark or something takes the credit for having found it.
That could be interesting, especially because we like Howard Stark.
Yeah, and it's not
like if you watch the first Avenger as well, it's like, you like him.
Or you just have the whole... or even it's like, he realizes that no one's going to believe him, and so he gives the evidence to Howard. Yeah. And then Howard gets all the credit. And then it's kind of like...
Gives
depressing.
Howard the credit, yeah.
It's depressing, but it's not like, we just killed this man. Because he's already going to be dead by the time the modern day comes around anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yes. Unless certain time-travelling characters can come and pick this guy up.
The TVA at the end.
No. That wouldn't be in this. That would be for later.
Terrible. So, exposition on stage. I think it's on stage. You see the original act by Mr. Porter,
right?
And you kind of you cut around, so you have like the Bucky and Steve stuff happening on in the crowd, and then you're also kind of splicing in dialogue with Revenant and what's Hephaestus's name? Phastos? Is it Phastos?
Yeah.
Right. Them having dialogue behind the stage, and then you send in Alice Starr.
Yeah.
She gets killed on stage. And that's where the rising action builds, where everything's kind of going to shit. And then he starts his little noir crime surge. Red herring, he thinks it's Howard Stark. He has a confrontation with Howard Stark where he's pinned him down and gone like, I've got you.
Yeah. You
killed her, didn't you? Nope. Wrong guy. You've now accidentally found a little ally.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then I think, well, no, I think it's like, okay, well then, I think somebody should tip him off that it's like Howard, and that somebody is somebody who's a member of who's like in the police, and then you go, the way to figure out that it's
Could
the
almost
mayor.
be. It could actually just be Fastos. I could see Fastos kind of not trusting Howard Stark initially, but being quite closely examining him, going, okay, I am the Eternal Man that does all the tech stuff, right? I'm going to maybe closely examine...
Or it's Fastos that gets falsely accused originally.
Right, could be.
Like, you've got life
and
in prison. You've got life in prison, and it's like, oh fuck.
Not again. A black man getting life in prison in the MCU.
No, but the worry would be that, like, if they give him life in prison, they'll eventually figure out that he's not aging at all.
Yeah.
And he can't just disappear. And so, like, in the background, there's more on the line in terms of, like, oh shit, he's about to get exposed as, like...
Do you know what? I think this is great because it makes the Eternals mildly interesting.
Yeah.
I think they should do more Marvel specials where they have just one Eternal.
Yeah.
From the past. Who's loosely linked to the context.
Sprite going to school.
Maybe not. Never mind. It's a terrible idea because you said Sprite going to school. And now I have regrets for everything that I've said. Anyway.
You deserve those regrets.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to make Eternals make sense.
Yeah.
Never again.
Don't ever do that in my presence again.
My bad. Right. It kind of works.
Yeah, and then so like I think
part of the issue with doing a murder mystery noir thriller is that realistically you can't crack these things on podcasts in seconds. You do have to just sit with them.
Yeah.
And
so for now,
and that's not really that entertaining if you just go, all right guys, so we're going to do a podcast. This week it's actually going to be like 100+ hours.
to crack a proper murder mystery.
Yeah. Wouldn't be entertaining. But yeah, so exposition stage, they're on stage. You've got Fastos and Revenant in the backstage, and kind of Alice Starr talking to them a bit before she's kind of rushing off, and there's a bit of momentum in that scene because of that. You've also got the Bucky and Steve audience perspective, where it's less that they are Bucky and Steve, but it's more that they are just two audience members.
2 kids,
And then Mr. Porter's done. Alice Starr gets on stage. Bang, dead.
What if
cops come in,
Mr. Porter...
arrest Fastos on the scene.
Yeah. What if Mr. Porter has, like, mob connections?
Very likely.
And, like... He sees our Revenant trying to defend Fastos
as suspicious,
and he's like, "That's weird.
Arrest him.
You killed my magician's assistant. You killed my magician's assistant, and you're trying to help him. What the fuck? I'm gonna get my goons on you."
Yeah.
And then like
that gives more kind of
and then we have a fight
action
scene.
Suspense, or you maybe have a fight scene, but also it's kind of like it's crank coded. It's audience listeners, Crank is a movie where it's just high octane all the time because he's poisoned and he has to keep his heartbeat up. But it's more constantly while everything's happening, he's rushing around and he's got the mob after him, so it gives some pacing to it.
In Call of Duty,
they
have a game mode in Zombies that's called Cranked, and the whole thing of it is that you have to get kills. So the timer starts with like 15 seconds, and every kill you get adds a few more seconds onto the thing, and then if the timer goes down, the game ends and you die.
Right.
And I've only just realised that it's because
maybe
of the movie
because of the
Crank.
Yeah. I don't know. It could just be that they're both.
I don't know. It seems too close.
Anyway, so that's all happening.
Yeah.
Where was I before you did the Call of Duty
that just
bit?
happened.
And then you got the rising action of him both fighting off the mob.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out the wider conspiracy while his friend is getting arrested. Who he doesn't know is a god.
Yeah, he's just like...
So he thinks he's just a guy
He's made all these gadgets that I'm using.
I would say like the way Alice Starr gets murdered has something to do with like wider tech apparatus that has something to do with the magic show.
Yeah.
So that's why I would even say that Mr. Porter maybe did the hit for the mayor.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Porter fucked up Fastos' equipment to get him to be the fall guy.
And our guy Ezekiel is like, well, his stuff never breaks.
Yeah.
He's
and then he goes, oh, he worked with Howard Stark once. because Howard Stark was just curious about the equipment or something.
Or
Howard Stark must have been the one that did that.
yeah.
He must be the guy, because he also
or him
dated
thinking
this
like,
girl.
or like, if Mr. Porter
Yeah.
moves to having Howard Stark produce some of his like equipment stuff, he thinks that Howard Stark killed her off, used her as an insider to like get like an in to this magic thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is early days Howard Stark, not like
Like 1930s,
yeah.
where he's kind of got his shit together. Yeah.
yeah.
Or sorry, 1940s.
1940s, yeah. And then there's like an interrogation with Howard Stark. He turns around and is like, no, you don't understand. I was dating her. I wouldn't have killed her, man.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, well then who would have done? It was like, I think Porter may have done it. And then you interrogate Porter. Porter's contacts were in the police.
You do Porter and you return to the scene with Porter.
Yeah.
You fight Porter. Oh shit, it's the mayor.
Yeah.
And then that kind of then means that you get an almost A-B plot line with Howard Stark using his connections to get the mayor to eventually be arrested, while the Revenant is going for the more kind of illegal crime route option of let's beat up the mayor. So kind of Howard's using his connections and his power, and the Revenant's using the abilities that he has right now, which is not much.
Which is all of the Now You See Me magic tricks.
All the Now You See Me magic tricks, yeah. That would be a good ending.
Yeah.
And then, bittersweet, he also gets arrested. Mayor gets arrested.
And then the end credit scene is...
Is there an end credit?
Yeah.
Is there an end credits in Werewolf?
Yeah,
Do they do that?
There
Really?
is. Yeah, it's very brief.
Okay.
So I think
the
end credit scene is someone in the military going up to Fastos and be like, "Hey, I hear you're a brilliant engineer. Huh? I need your help with something."
And he's like, "Nah, man.
It's a certain project, the Manhattan
We're
project."
in Manhattan.
and then like it's him like joining Mr. Oppenheimer. And that means that when you see him again in Eternals, and he's like, "What have I done?
My Le Bon.
Now I have become death, destroyer of worlds." Or Hiroshima, at least.
Right. I have become death, destroyer of cities.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're done.
I think we are done with that. That was a fun one.
A nice shorter episode.
Yeah.
All
Little
right.
cheeky noir with a couple of red herrings. Little magic tricks. Surprisingly, we didn't get into the magic tricks, but it kind of makes sense in a way because it's like there isn't.
It's hard to do for the visuals.
Because it is just that would be a really interesting visual on screen. Is someone doing
fights with
regular magic tricks with like stunt choreography in order to one up someone.
And now I'm gonna make you levitate. Woo!
Because it would probably be less like that, and it would be more like if in your fight choreography you'd be like punching someone with one hand and then distracting someone with another hand, and that would be how you one up someone. But you can't really be like, and then that happened.
Yeah. I think that's it. Though.
Yeah.
I think we
It was a fun one though.
All right.
All right.
Fun magic episode.
Cheerio.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye bye.